KFUG Community Radio, 1032 the time. Just Paul with you. It is community service. The Beatles right there before that. Dwight Yoakam. I'm joined live in the studio, Michelle Carillo from the Wild Rivers Community Foundation. How you doing, Michelle?
Good morning. Great.
Great, and we can hear you. Everything works. That's nice. That makes me happy. So you've come in to talk about an award that Del Norte, and it's Del Norte and adjacent tribal lands, basically. The whole county, the whole region. How does it break down? Is it just Del Norte County?
Yes, it's Del Norte County and tribal lands. So we are, the entire county, as well as the Yurok Reservation, Tolodaney Nation, Elk Valley, Rezagini.
So it's the Donatl.
Yes, the
okay.
Donatl.
So now, this is exciting. This is an award that sort of recognizes big strides we've made in the community to better just the quality of life here, basically. Let's just start with the give us the background, as we were talking before we went live, about it's Robert Woods Johnson Foundation, and what is the award meant to celebrate, to highlight?
Yeah, so Robert Wood Johnson, they do a lot of health research, and one of the things they do is they rate community health rankings by county. And they do this across the country, and they've got a really extensive data research and listing of all the different kinds of things they're measuring. But when they look at health, they're looking at really, really broad terms of it. So it's not just, are people visiting the doctor? Do they have access to health care? It's, how are the quality of schools? Can people access healthy food? Is the air quality great? Do they have access to recreation? There's a lot of different things to go into how they measure health. But what we were seeing was that Del Norte County was getting ranked very low in 2009. We were some of the worst health rankings in the state of California, 55 out of 58.
58, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, and that was, so about 10 years ago, and Building Healthy Communities had launched at that point, which was funded by the California Endowment. And that investment was really to say, we're going to invest in a place for 10 years and really try to change those health outcomes.
So that was just at the outset of the BHC endeavors then here in Del Norte County.
Yeah.
Was that beginning in the schools, the school lunch? And I remember the first time, and I think I've said this to you before, the first time I was aware of BHC in the community was when the kids at Sunset wanted better food, more healthy food for lunch out there.
Yeah, that was one of the really great efforts in community organizing, right? Teaching young people how to really connect with leaders in the community and change their own systems and policies, and teaching them the skills to do that. So learning how to make the ask of, can they get better healthy lunch? What was the first thing BHC did in Del Norte County? Honestly, the first thing they did was a lot of community meetings and listening, and there was a whole logic model process that I wasn't around for, but that the community partners, a lot of folks that were in it, a lot of it was looking at what kind of goals do we want to set? What are those big indicators? What do we want to tackle? There was a whole rivers of indicators that was looking at like childhood obesity and really that overall quality of life, safe routes to schools. There was a lot around food with some of the earliest work that really had a lot of success. And that was, the schools and the food council got off the ground. It was really great to see that kind of work happening. So
in the intervening 10 years then, from 2009 to now, how's the BHC's endeavor expanded in the community? What are other things that... we start with food, we start with planning, and then what happened after that? Tell me the story of BHC in Del Norte County, Michelle.
Well, Building Healthy Communities, when that opportunity came up, the nonprofits had to pick a backbone organization to really handle the convening of people and just the organization of a large health initiative. And at that point, they had picked Wild Rivers Community Foundation, who is a trusted, neutral convener to be that home. So that's where I work, and that's our role, is to continue to convene people and really take a look at the health of the community and find ways to collaborate and identify where there's energy to really make change in the community. And that's popped up in a lot of different ways. The 3v23 campaign is a big one, guaranteeing that all kids read by third grade. And that's been a wide community effort, right? None of these are what I would say building healthy communities things, right? It's the whole community coming together. And it really takes that true partnership and collaboration. So from early childhood access to preschool, to changing absenteeism and really making sure that parents are aware that absenteeism really affects their kids' learning. to also Open Door and their gardens, the Family Resource Center, and the kids garden that they have there, the food forests we see at College of the Redwoods, the partnerships with Tolowa-Dani Nation to really hold that grant and make sure we've got food abundant in all these different places and people know different ways to grow their own food. There's so much. I mean, the Nonprofit Alliance is another one where the nonprofits came together, and after listening to board members and the nonprofits themselves and really trying to understand what was going on, they pulled together and said, we need an alliance to support each other, and that if one organization fails, the other ones are hurt as well. And so seeing that coalition come together and again, that partnership to say we're all in this together, it's a small community. That's what we're seeing across. When I think about building healthy communities, it's the partners that are doing this work long term, no matter if there's a collaborative or not.
A lot of the endeavors you mentioned too, what's interesting to me is that, you go to board meetings and you hear, city council members and supervisors talking about these same things. So as well as just sort of marbling through the community via the network of nonprofits, we've also had, real weight in Del Norte County, been able to get to bring on board as stakeholders the policymakers in Del Norte County as well, so that to realize some of these.
Absolutely. We've had some really great support from policymakers. And we've also had a lot of emphasis on building up youth leaders, and the Youth Training Academy is one of those examples where young people get to explore a lot of different career pathways, and College of the Redwoods gets to be the home for that and work in partnership with nonprofits. And a lot of the community leaders and electeds are so supportive of that. I mean, even Senator McGuire came out last year and honored the youth for their community service and work. So I think overall people are very supportive and excited to see any kind of positive change happening. And that's really what got us back to the nomination of why we thought we should nominate the community, because we were seeing a trend. So, we were 55 in 2009. Well, last year we're 39.
Wow.
Yeah. So we saw some changes, and it was like, hey, we should take note of this. What's really happening? So we got together with some of the partners and asked, what do you think is happening? Do you see this same trend? Do you feel it? And Tolowa-Dani Nation said, you know what, we'll co-nominate with you, because we needed more than one organization to nominate. This wasn't celebrating one organization or one initiative. This was, again, that whole community saying, we are doing something really great. Let's celebrate it. And, the question still in the nomination process was still about what's yet to be done, right? That forward focused, there's still a lot of work we want to do to improve the lives.
Like what sorts of things?
So I think there's a video floating online that you can look at that's voices of local residents talking about the forward things that they want to see. Youth like Sam Bradshaw called out talking about the Homeless Coalition.
And I'm sorry, I want to write that down because I do want to check out the video. What is it again?
Yeah. So the video is on our Facebook page. And on Wild Rivers Community Foundation and on the Building Healthy Communities Donato Facebook page. And it is a short snapshot of local voices. I'm trying to remember what the title of it is, but it's the Robert Wood Johnson Community Health posting.
Okay, cool. I'd like to share that around. I want to check that out and share that. That's awesome.
Yeah, because to try to quote what these young people are saying and what the community leaders are saying, I really recommend just watching it. It's a quick 4-minute video. It's not too bad. And it's really empowering just to hear young people talk about their vision for wanting to take care of others in the community, and their belief, because they've seen things happen. They worked with electeds and saw that there were real proclamations happening and commitment from people. And that for young people to grow up in that space and be the ones that are running nonpartisan town hall meetings and registering people to vote before they can even vote. That's
amazing. Yeah. And to see the youth involvement based on just BHC and other endeavors in the community. There's this cadre of youth in Del Norte County, it seems like, that are really fired up and involved and are already not stepping into the adult world and becoming policymakers and becoming movers and shakers in the county. And that's because of these endeavors. It's
right.
amazing.
I look back to, Alex Fallman did Youth Training Academy multiple years, was involved in community organizing. And, now, and I don't know if he's the youngest city council member, but definitely one of the youngest I've seen.
Well, the youngest here.
Yes, the youngest here.
When he first was elected, his dad had to give him rides because he didn't have his license yet. I love that. So the award then, it's a $25,000 cash award?
Yeah, so it's a cash award that when we did the nomination process, we said, we're happy to, receive the award if we do get that award. So part of the nomination process is right now we're in the 12 finalists across the entire country. So there were hundreds of applicants this year.
And that's not just state, that's country.
Yeah, that's across the country.
Wow.
So to be in the top 12 means that we get published on their website as being one of the 12 finalists. And in May, they're going to come do a site visit. And so they're going to get to talk to more of our community partners and leaders. So we're in the process of planning that right now.
Oh, keep us involved. I'd like to follow along and talk to folks while that's going on. That's great. Cool.
Yeah. Where they get to share their stories, right? About what they're seeing are the changes and what we still need to do. And so we'll find out from there, right, if we're one of the final four. So those final four get that cash award. And then that is up to, again, the community so this committee that's kind of done the nomination to say, how do we want to put that back into the community? It's going to be health focused, right?
Yeah,
probably something celebratory, again, of partnerships and people in the community.
Any idea what other counties are in the top 12, the 12 finalists?
Yeah, Vista, California is one.
I saw that listed, and I don't know where Vista, California is.
So it's in Southern California.
Okay.
Funny note, that's actually where I grew up for the first 7 years
Seriously,
of my life.
really?
Yeah. Yes.
So Del Norte's a lateral move? Is
right?
that what?
I know. Just going for those healthy places. Yeah, and there was a couple others.
So I'm sorry, where in Southern California? Is it inland? Is it on the coast?
It's more on the coast.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It's down kind of by San Clemente.
Okay.
Yeah, more of the coastal town.
All right. And other farther afield, like
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think there was only like one other rural one, and on the website
Really?
they did post the 12 sites. And I'm trying to think. I think there was one in New Mexico and one in Colorado.
So that's interesting. It's not just rural counties,
No,
then, but there's
not at all.
such a difference in. Is there a difference? Am I just imagining that a difference in the sort of issues that rural counties have to face, as opposed to urban counties or suburban?
I mean, I guess in the issues and how you solve the problems,
but
that might be. But the actual issues that people are facing, I mean, what we found is that place matters, and place drives more than anything your health outcomes. So it's not about who you come from or your socioeconomics. It's that place. And there are places across the country that have less access to healthy food. They have less access to quality schools. The air quality in a lot of these places is really bad. The water quality is really bad. And that's, again, by their neighborhood. It's not because there's really great people in one place or another. There's these areas and that's really was the impetus for building healthy communities, investing in the way it did, was to say there are places that we need to invest deeper, and there are systems and policies that can be changed, right? We can change the way we do zoning, or we can make safe routes and sidewalks and improve our parks and improve the places that people live.
At the next show waiting to come on. This is the video that you show. I think I've seen it twice now in YTA, but the zip code video.
Yeah,
right?
the zip code video, absolutely. The Zip Code Matters video is another one that's on YouTube, and it's another quick, very George Takei narrates that one, and it's a simple way to understand that what we're seeing is that your zip code drives your health outcomes much more. So data like the Robert Wood Johnson County Health Rankings, we do follow that because that is talking about our zip code, that is talking about our place, and we want to see that improve. We want to see those overall health rankings change.
I think I like that the judgment, you talk about it's health, and everybody, people will think, well, you're talking about medical bills or access to doctors, things like that, but really it's quality of life issues that the foundation is looking at here. You're talking about access to food, access to clean air, access to water, access to safe schools. Do we have any idea, is there a number? Has life expectancy in Del Norte gone up? Is there a number that you can look at and say,
that's a good question.
I would have to
look. I'd have to look at that a little bit more. I know there's a couple other data sources that do look at the actual number, and I think there is a link on the Zip Code Matters one that does some of that same analysis to actually look at the life expectancy, because they can show it by neighborhood differences of this one neighborhood has a 10-year better life outcome than another neighborhood, right? And they're right next to each other. That's crazy.
Yeah, what's the difference there, right? Exactly. That's really interesting. I like that it's such a broad quality of life sort of metric or matrices. What about timeline? When will we know?
Well, they're going to come in May, and then I think over the that's the tail end of the site visits. So I think by end of June, we'll know something. So.
Okay. Well, good luck to all of us.
Yeah, right, the whole community.
No, exactly. Who do you root for? All of us. And just as an aside, the immediate future of building healthy communities, because it's going to sunset. It's going to end, right? How do these endeavors, how do the strides that we've made forward over the past 10 years, how do we continue moving in that direction?
Yeah, the good news is that a lot of the investments that have been made over the last 10 years in our community, they're not things that are going to go away. So changes in the way that we work together, the Seamless Summer Meal Program, that is going to keep going because there's amazing partners doing that work, and they've figured out how to make it happen. More kids having access to preschool slots. Again, that's not something we have to continue to fund. We supported some research and a process to listen to the community and brought folks together, but the changes that are there will last way beyond any other kind of funding.
And this is something that we've been working on with the YTA too, is to make sure there are enough community partners in place to continue that when BHC is done.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the ability for us to convene and collaborate and listen to each other, that's sticking around because we've invested in leaders in the community, and the investment that was made in me as a staff member at Wild Rivers to our other community leaders in how to do this kind of work, that's not leaving. I mean, I grew up in Brookings. This is our home community, and to see our young people and folks that work across the different systems knowing how to do this, as well as residents knowing how to organize and engage with their leaders and understanding the democratic process, that lasts way beyond some initiative. And whether or not, building healthy communities is saying, look, like, we've been successful. They're thrilled with what's happened. So they're looking at what's the next version of this going to be. They're not saying we're going to close the door on what we've done.
Shutter the windows and we're finished.
No, they're celebrating. They're really excited to see, and I think are really leaning on the communities to figure out what's next. What are the important lessons learned? That's really a lot of what the next 2 years of work is about, is really trying to share what are our big lessons learned. And
that's really exciting. Why didn't you say anything at the Economic Summit about this?
Redwood Voice was able to get up there, and we really felt like the youth being able to talk about their storytelling was a great opportunity then. And I think it was just still so new. They'd already put the agenda together, and I think it's a great platform.
Because it seems the same sort of celebratory message, the kind of rah-rah community stuff. Look what we're doing here. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so individuals, just to leave it here, individuals in the community, what can we do? Not just what Wild Rivers Community Foundation can do, or any of the nonprofits, or what can an individual citizen here in Del Norte County do to maintain this trajectory that we're on?
I think it starts with empathy, starts with the relationships. And a lot of families, what we heard was that parents feel isolated or people feel alone. And the power of building relationships with people, it starts with that. It starts with knowing your neighbor and building that sense of community, and that we're stronger together in that way. It's also having relationships with your elected officials and them knowing who you are and hearing your voice and finding ways to connect. It's supporting your kids, reading to them every day, even if they're not your kids, right? Getting, sharing the books, seeing businesses support, and having those little reading corners. There's so many individual things you can do on a daily basis to just say, hey, we're a community and let's support each other. And
because a community that becomes like a way of life, community building, it becomes a healthier community and a happier community too.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in and talking to us. And I want to have you back to talk about more things.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Welcome.
Michelle Carillo from the Wild River Community Foundation talking about, what's the name of the award? Does it have like a big flashy
name? The Culture
name?
of Health Award.
There you go, the Culture of Health Award, and we'll keep on top of that, and hopefully our local health endeavors will have a little kick in the pants to the tune of $25,000 to keep moving in the right direction.
That would be great.
Michelle, thank you very much. Michelle Carillo.